He was like, hit it harder. I'm like, he's like, harder. I'm like, I don't want to.
Welcome to the Beat Around the Bench podcast about woodworking, good times, and general jackassery. With your hosts, Jess of Jess Build It, Colton of Cold Crit, and Ross of RNC Woodworking and Designs. You can find us all on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. In this week's episode, we enlist each other's help to help deliver projects on time. Colton cuts the fat in his prime rib and his employees' prime. Jess is as high as 10 stories, worried about acoustics, and Ross balances projects and breaks a drill press. All of that and more is coming up on this episode of Beat Around the Bench podcast. Now for episode 95, the Fir Fighters.
Okay, so let's keep this going. Prime rib, what are you putting on it, and what are your two sides you get to pick? My prime rib is just SPG with some thyme sprigs. I usually put that in the au jus at the bottom. Medium rare. It got a nice bark on the outside. So what?
I'm going to let Colton answer that first. What are your sides first?
I actually had one last tonight.
I'm gonna put some with horseradish on top.
So we're doing cream with horseradish or like traditional?
Oh, creamy horseradish sounds pretty good.
Really creamy.
Anything that gets that spice cut through that fat.
Okay.
And then sides, definitely some like grilled asparagus.
Okay.
And then whatever, something weird I haven't had from that restaurant. So.
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay. Are you doing a starch at all? You gonna do like a baked potato or mac and cheese or anything?
Yeah, I'll do some sort of crazy stuffed potato.
Okay.
Lots of bacon or something.
Yeah, steak and a baked potato is always really good. All right. What do you got, Ross?
So I'm not going to lie. Prime rib has never been one of my favorite cuts of meat because, as Colton alluded to,
it's fatty.
It's fairly fatty. It's just kind of a loosey-goosey cut.
I'm with you.
Like,
my favorite.
I prefer more of like a New York strip or a ribeye, something like that.
Ribeye for me, man. Rare ribeye.
But my favorite way to do prime rib.
We'll sear it. We'll re-sear it.
Well, hold on. No, sir. No, it has nothing to do. Like, I love, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it medium rare. It has nothing to do with like how it's cooked. We can trim the
fat a little bit.
I want it shredded and put into a grilled cheese.
Okay.
Oh, bold move, Cotton.
Yeah,
that's illegal.
Okay, so what are your two sides with your shredded prime rib grilled cheese?
I'm going to go with balsamic roasted Brussels sprouts and waffle fries.
Okay, so tonight we did it, and then she made the asparagus, Parmesan, like kind of you broil them, and like then I did Brussels sprouts, and I did the Brussels sprouts fresh, which was nice instead of frozen. Fresh Brussels sprouts, we have them, and then I save the bacon grease from the bacon when we cook it, and I used bacon fat to cook the Brussels sprouts with a little bit of salt, pepper, and smoked paprika, and it's pretty good.
Do you know what the key to getting bitterness out of Brussels sprouts is?
Don't eat them.
Throw them away?
No. When you cut them in half, like you did, you soak them in a cold saltwater bath for like 20 minutes, and it cuts out all the bitterness. And then when you pan sear them in like a cast iron, they like crisp up perfectly. It is al dente.
Yeah, they were in a cast iron. They were good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's almost, I mean, like you do the same thing to crawfish. I mean, it's different. Yeah. Different reasons why you're doing it. Yes,
you're purging the crawfish, but yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
Interesting. Hey, also, I feel like we glossed over the Fir Fighters. What a good one. You nailed it on that title.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Someone getting the best of you.
Have you heard the cow song by the Foo Fighters?
The cow song?
The cow
So
song.
long and thanks for all the cows.
It is a good song.
It is a great song.
They played two songs. So like it's like a thing when a musical guest on like when a musical guest plays, like let's say Conan O'Brien or David Letterman or Jay Leno, if they play two songs while they're on, that's like a thing. Like Conan O'Brien had The Cure on, and they played two songs, of course, because they're freaking Cure. and Foo Fighters came on, and they played 2 songs, and that was their second song. They played the cow song. I think they played Hero.
Yeah,
it was either Everlong or Hero, and then they played the cow song. And I was like, "Hey, sweet, that's awesome."
Nice.
It's also a good song.
Yes,
Dude, that Best of You song got me through hard times in high school. Actually, like I was a little guy. I hit my growth spurt late, and like I was getting the crap beat out of me in football, and I was like, I'm not quitting. I'm not gonna let him get the best of me. That was my song, man. Got me through.
But the David Grohl. I mean, the reason I started playing, I played drums, but like I got like Everlong down after playing for a while, and then I just became hooked on his style, and he was one of the reasons why I love to play, because his songs are so fun to play.
So strangely enough, I like Dave Grohl. I've never taken music lessons. It was just self-taught by ear. I took percussion ensemble for a little bit in high school, but we didn't learn any drum kit kind of stuff.
Right.
And the first time I sat down to try and play The Color and Shape, the entire album, I was amazed how easy it came, because I apparently fell directly out of the Dave Grohl tree of drumming and hit my head on every branch. And like his whole style is apparently what I was doing anyway. And I'm like, okay, well, this makes total sense. And it made it very easy to learn, because it was like, I'm just used to playing through the drums, not like playing the drums.
One of the best albums ever.
Interesting.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I could beat it like on medium in Guitar Hero. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. I was hard. I don't want to brag.
I actually saw a video of some dude playing Dragon Force at on expert level at 200 times speed, and he got it perfect.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That makes me not want to try for like high scores and stuff.
Well, what you didn't see is the
games.
7,000 other times he played it.
Correct.
Until he got it. Right.
Correct.
Oh, you can only assume. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I assume he's single, but
Yes.
different story.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Or
gentlemen,
Asian.
what's going on in your shops?
We had some big drama this last week, man.
Big drama. Hold on.
yeah,
Wait.
Big drama.
Hold on. Big drama.
The XFR. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We, the one guy, I've talked about him a lot on here. He's,
Bato?
What?
Bato?
Mato.
No, Beto's good,
Jose?
man. But
Jose?
no, this is
Jose?
Marcos.
Marcos.
He has great pizza.
Right. Oh, we actually do like Marcos pizza, but yeah, we he doesn't work for us anymore, man. And he was
today?
No, as of Friday.
Ooh.
And he had just come back from a big
Trauma
surgery and all that.
XFR.
And
Wait, was this the guy with the hernia and all that?
yeah, which ends up it was more than just a hernia. It was
I would assume so.
like blockage, and I don't know how much he wants me to share his medical history on here, but
0.
but yeah, there was a lot more than just hernia, but it was really intense. But yeah, he came back, and me and him have been a roller coaster, man, this whole time. Like, we have really good days and really bad days, and some days I'm like, Rick, this guy is hurting our team, and some days I'm like, Rick, we love this dude. And I was really hoping he was going to come back with a fresh attitude, like thankful to be back and stuff. And he very much did not. And we didn't have to fire him.
But you didn't have to keep him either.
No, he had messed up pretty good the first day, or his second day back. And so the third day in the morning, so Rick had been with him. We were on separate jobs, and I was coming in. He was like, we need to write him up. Here's what I wanted to say. I'm like, all right, let's put some paper on him. And we didn't get through the write-up process, and he quit. And which is really sad. He had so much potential, man. It really bothers me.
Ink.
Yeah, I really hope he ends up all right. But
That's a good way to think.
It's one of those guys where he's got a big ego, and that ego's got to get broken down somehow, whether it's on his own, like meditation, or whether it's through hitting rock bottom. And but no, I'll be praying for the guy. But yeah, he's no longer with us, which it was honestly a good sign. Whenever the first day, like with Zero Marcos is, I I'm relieved as a manager, it's a good sign. And
been there.
However, now it's just me and Rick who can spray in the shop, which we're starting a whole new, we're calling it the program. And we're pretty stoked. Name. Yeah. program. But yeah, man, we're jamming out some good stuff. Me and Rick are being a good yin yang, right? Like one of us will stay in the shop and the other one handles field work, and we'll switch off vice versa depending on what it is. And even when we're in the shop, we're tackling multiple projects and finally getting caught up. There's for a while there, a long while, it was chasing our tail, just trying to survive. And we're finally back. And
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And he's back.
Yeah. As far as what's on the floor of the shop, we got like this giant, you'll remember a while back, I made end caps that were lost from another company. Another company lost some end caps to this like antique pine, like slow growth pine.
I remember you talking about slow growth pine. I don't remember what the project was for, but sure.
I built 2 end caps for the end of this table that like a company we work with lost, and they turned out really good, but we didn't have the actual table there with us to match it. But unfortunately it was like a few hour away, but yeah, made the drive, picked up the table. And so I think we're just going to strip everything and recolor it. But the table itself I saw is really interesting. However, the people who've worked on it before and their method of fixing the bow in this table has been questionable. Like, so have y'all ever heard this? Like, so it's pretty long, maybe like 10 foot, like the center of the table is 10 foot.
Is this a dining room table?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's a big grand base below it. It's probably 8-quarter thick.
Okay.
And it's like really old pine. A lot of the joints on it seem to either be dowels or like filled, or like, they
probably dowels
screwed in and dowel a hole over it. But like, so you don't remove the base from the table. It'd be very invasive on the wood. But someone has come back with a bunch of really hardy red oak, looks like red oak, below it, like crosses on these underneath. And I keep saying, like, guys, I think we should run some C channel, right?
Yeah.
And
you could do the oak, but you have to just slot it and not glue it. Just like a C channel, basically.
I don't even know if this one was glued. It's definitely screwed in a lot. Like there's like 2 screws per board. So no slots. They did a lot of it, but it's kind of warped to the point where you can't really tell from the top. They must have like flattened it, but you can. We were trying to put in the old like leaf extensions, like the part that goes between the end cap and the table itself, and the holes weren't lining up. And I was like, Rick, what's going on here? We've tried both leaves, both sides. They're all a little bit off. And it's like, yeah, it's bowing good. But so they did these red oak crosses, which they did a lot of them. Looks like they only screwed them. And then on the 2 ends, there's like a wire with like a tightening wheel in the middle. Because there's a little skirt, little inset skirt. Yeah, I think a turnbuckle thing. And so like, I'm like, wouldn't that make the cupping worse? No, and then everyone's like, no. I'm
it's like trying to get ice not to expand. It's not going to happen. I've done this.
Yeah, you gotta let it expand, right?
So the way you need to
C channel's perfect.
The way you need to repair this, yes, C channel needs to be part of it. Take off the red oak, and then what you're going to do is cut probably anywhere from 2 to 4 full length cuts with a track saw, like 1/2 inch deep on the underside of the table to relieve some of that cupping pressure so you can bend it back.
How deep you cut in, like half?
Yeah,
or quarter?
1/2 inch, because if it's an 8-quarter top, just cut in like a 1/2 inch to relieve some pressure so you can start to bend it back. And then
you want to go a quarter depth.
Is this inside a flat top? Does it have like aprons and stuff attached, or
it has a little inset skirt?
Okay,
but like it's just like screwed on, but it's like a few inches inset, so it's not really.
So
that.
If I were you,
tense.
I would turn the table upside down from the underside, cut like a quarter of the depth of the table thickness, run that all the way across. So the length of the table, probably at 4 different locations.
So you're doing clear through to where like you could see it on the end from the end cap.
No, I wouldn't do it on the end cap, just on the underside, underneath the frame of the table. Okay. Then once you're able to bend it back down to the frame of the table, clamp it there, then cut your C-channel parts and make sure the C-channel is inset so that it obviously has enough room to expand and contract.
Leaves
But
more
And
relief.
that will then give you the ability to put in the C-channel and make sure that it doesn't move beyond this.
Right.
Like the red oak, like the thing is if they laid it flat, like you're not gonna like what 3/4 thick or whatever. It's still gonna.
Oh, so these are it's like a 3x3 probably, or maybe 3x4. Like
so that's quite a skirt.
No, not the skirt. The skirts, the skirt's some sort of 3/4, like the red oak.
I know, but what I'm saying is, if you can see the red oak, if you can't see the red oak cross from the side, then that skirt's pretty tall, right?
Well, kind of. If you got perfectly horizontal, you could see the skirt, or you could see the red oak.
Yeah, I mean, if they'd have just slotted that red oak, it might have helped, so that something could move while it expanded, contracted, and at the same time held it down. I mean, that's how they used to do it before C-channel, right?
Is it bowing or is it cupping? Is it like raising in the center or raising on the sides?
I think it's trying to raise in the center.
Okay. That's a slightly different story then.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Just
put the C-channel in it.
Or you saying, are the sides trying to go up, or is the middle?
It looks like
I haven't fully got to inspect that because it looks flat when you're looking at it, but
so maybe somebody finds it.
It's been moved. Yeah, I think it was flattened after.
So how old is this table if it's solid wood?
The actual table itself, I think, was decently old, but and I don't know if it was probably made by somebody over. They're out of town. It's a real country.
Gotcha.
The house is amazing, but yeah.
Okay.
This customer has some other stuff in her house. She's actually very knowledgeable. A longtime customer of Rick's, and like while we were there, we were putting paste wax on her back door as well, like not on the outside, on the inside. And then she has some other like paste wax furniture like that. But
she has paste wax furniture.
Yeah, like I said, she treats with paste wax.
Oh.
That's how she shines it up. And like once a year, she comes through and hits it with a clear.
Hey,
and or the color.
I have a table that I did that with in my first project ever in shop class, and it still looks great today. So
right, I think some of her furniture was like old, like could have been on a wagon kind of thing.
Oh,
like very lightweight.
And now it's off the wagon, so it's drinking nightly.
Yeah, right. But this paste wax seems really annoying. Like someone was cleaning her windows, or her housekeeper was cleaning her windows, and that's what we were dealing with. Was one of the things while we were there. And
her housekeeper?
It looks like the ammonia and whatever cleaner they're using had dripped down, and it had dyed or like bleached streaks in her door. And then
so you're trying to say that it went from the window to the wall?
To the floor, yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Hey-o.
So the Windex strips down my
and then also on one of her bigger pieces she finishes with paste wax. There was like I learned a new word. I should have looked it up. It starts with a C. It's whenever something's opposite of acidic. It's super basic.
Alkaline.
No, it's a C word.
Base.
I'll look it up and come back to it.
Oh, well, the opposite of acidic is base.
Like someone like maybe had been cleaning something and there was some sort of cleaner. Oh, like the spick and span or something like that. Cleaner is very much on the basic side or something, and it just ate all of the paste wax in a spot. Like, and then there was like another little ruffle spot where it looks like it was like a rag that was put down.
Citric?
pH. No. Something to do with the pH being low.
Yeah, I mean it's either alkaline or it's acidic. Those are your.
Yeah, I'll have to ask Rick. Sorry, I wasn't prepared with that. But okay, and like paste wax, it just seems like a pain in the butt. Like,
it is a lot of effort, but it does put like a physical layer between like, and it's easy to touch up. That's why it was something. It was easy to touch up. It was inexpensive. That's why people did it. And now once you start it, you just got to keep going.
Like Rubio, same thing. It's a wax.
Yeah,
hard wax, but yes.
It's crazy.
But yeah, it was pretty cool seeing Rick. He was like, he's like, oh, hand me a can of satin lacquer. And I was like, what are you doing that for? And he was trying filling the grains a little bit, just like kind of spurting on a little bit, then hitting it. Mm-hmm. And then we actually, at first we hit it with some lacquer retarder. And that did some good, but it didn't get all of it out. And it was really neat getting to be a fly on the wall or an assistant, a helper to a chemistry lesson on paste wax. But,
okay.
Yeah, we'll see if they let me work on this table like that. I think we're just going to move the dowels and the leaves. I'd rather not. I'd rather do the C channel. But we're not there to fix the table. We're there to just color it. And we're not getting paid to fix it. We'll get paid to color it,
Correct.
or strip it and color lacquer. But it's still a good table.
Did Rick buy the laser?
Oh, no. We haven't talked about it since we talked last.
You should. But this is the perfect thing.
He, for being an old boomer, like he is really excited about buying this new tech. And I think it was the video he watched. Like he was like whoever was selling, like introducing this product must have been his age gap or whatever. And pretty convincing. But yeah, the guy was like, if you're running a furniture restoration company and you don't have one of these, you're messing up. And
there you go.
I'm stoked. There is a lot we got to get going.
Think about this table right now. You got to refinish the whole stupid thing, strip the whole thing. You just hit it with a laser, sand it, and start running finish. Same day.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that he does it. I really do, because that would be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so cool. The videos alone that we could make from that would be.
I mean,
awesome.
it would be epic for the company. I think word would get out too. I think it's a cool thing.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So, Jess, I have a question. You sent us some pictures today.
Yes.
Of some unbelievable work that you did.
Oh, yes. I love the colors too.
Yeah. So, to those that are listening, can you paint a visual picture for them?
So, the customer lives, number one, 10th floor, in a place you have to have a pod to get up the elevator. Second of all, we had to park in a parking lot across the street. This customer bought this beautiful place in St. Petersburg overlooking the water, and wanted a bump out built for his see-through fireplace. Well, I shouldn't say see-through. It's see-through on each end, not all the way see-through.
Okay.
Electric fireplace that he wanted to install, place for hang his TV, and a niche for his sound bar, and he wanted wood slats. The designer wanted to do wood slats.
Yeah.
Originally, it was going to be walnut wood slats, and at the last minute, the company, I was talking about doing it by hand, and then we found a company that makes panels with wood slats, and he picked like a gray. It was actually oak with a gray.
That must have saved you so much time.
Black background. Yes.
We actually have installed the same ones in my house, and they look awesome.
Well, yes, these are acoustic panels, so it's 3/8 thick felt panels on the back. All of the slats are stapled through it, not glued, which makes it so like you can manipulate it a little bit if you need to. It also makes it so if you cut it, you have to remove the staples, which is not good. And then all the ends, you have to are unfinished. So like we painted them black. So like everything that went around the opening of the fireplace, every place you could see the end around the door opening, we had to paint those black on the fly, tape them off, paint it, then put it up. It was glued. We used to use Loctite Power Grab, works really good. And then just a few black like drywall screws just to hold it up.
Perfect.
While it, dried. It is one of the most difficult things I've ever installed.
Really?
If I went back and did it again, not to mention I'm cutting with a track saw and a Festool vacuum inside this guy's house.
Mm-hmm. And how did the dust collection work for you, Jess?
It works better if you tape over the hole. Like I had a Makita saw, but it works better if you tape over that hole in the front. I would say out of 100% of dust, it probably got 90%.
That's strong.
85 to 90. After we taped it, it was about 90%.
Nice.
But we ran out of material at one point, and my work phone's ringing.
Man, you got video games going over there.
No.
You got Owl City playing.
My wife left that.
Jess, we need to talk about your ringtone when you get back on
This
here.
is my wife's phone. It's not my phone. It's the work phone. So anyway,
okay, it's a little more justifiable. Okay.
So it was very difficult. So we built the bump out. I did a pretty good job with that, and I made one mistake, but we were able to fix it. But I had to cut a 2x4 in half long ways while it was mounted with a buzzy.
You ripped an entire 2x4 with a buzzy?
Oh, I love getting sketchy like that.
I
dude.
had to take a half inch of meat off a 2x4 thickness.
Why couldn't you?
Because it was all in the wall. No, it was in the wall. It was already in the wall. The fireplace needed to go back, and I was I made a mistake, and nobody noticed it until right before, and I'm like, holy crap! So I did take a skill saw and cut a bunch of cuts in it.
Could you have done a router with a?
You don't understand. We're in a house. I'm in a house. There's no router. I'm a million miles from any more tools. What I had was what I had, and I had a lot.
Did you have a Japanese handsaw?
No, but I took the skill saw. I cut a bunch of cuts in it. He held the vacuum up, and then I took a buzzy and a pry bar. We busted most of it off. That took an hour. So anyway, that was our biggest mistake. I cut a couple of the panels wrong. I also didn't understand the fireplace and the installation instructions. And anyway, I understand it now, obviously, but I'm like, oh, okay. And then, so we cut a couple things wrong and here and there, but you're able to manipulate the panels by, there's a 1/4 inch overlap from one panel to the next, right? So the last slat is hung over a 1/4 inch past the felt so that it goes up. There's a 1/2 inch gap in between each one. So we got down to the end. I had no material left, and we had some cutoffs. So
shorts.
I happened to have they were full length, but they were only maybe 8 inches wide or 10 inches wide. So we pulled the staples. I stapled it to the far side with the stapler that I had, pulled all the other staples out, then set the track saw to the thickness of the felt and cut the 1/4 inch overlap.
Damn.
And made my own panels on the last 2 panels. And the last panel fit like air came out as I pushed it in. And I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. So
yeah, hold on. That deserves a little bit.
So that was that. Then today we started on the cabinets, and unbeknownst to the designer, she bought a wine fridge, or suggested a wine fridge that was a full built-in wine fridge, not a wine fridge. So it has no sides, it has no top, it has no front. And all we did was make a panel. And so I went to put it in. I was and it was the most complicated thing I've never had.
It's like putting in a dishwasher.
It was worse. There was 1,000 parts, a million adjustments, and there's all these little things. And he said to me,
he's being the homeowner?
Yeah, he's there's nothing like buying a refrigerator that's a mortgage payment. And I'm like, how much was it? And he goes, it was a lot. And so I was
mess it up.
You didn't tell me to make a panel. Anyway, so I did as much as I could. She didn't have the handle for it. It was all this. So I got it done much. And then we put the rest of the cabinets in lickety split. And And then the last little mini fridge, that one was fine. We put the panel on that, and I said, all right, I'm out. So it's been very difficult. But yes, the slat wall is very striking. I've never put in a electric fireplace like that before. It's all glass. It's so cool because it's got a mirror, and so when the flames come up, it's like a hologram almost. It's like it looks like it has. He was all excited about that. And then there's an access panel to get to there's like a TV port in the back. So
I saw that.
Yeah, and that's magnetic. I put little magnets back there, so you just pull it out.
That project, the whole thing, it seems so nerve-wracking.
It is.
There's so many vertical lines, and they're
think
all
about like trying to get your corner right.
Symmetrical, yeah.
You got I built the built out. Thank God. I will say this: whoever built this entire complex, the kitchen cabinets are like walnut laminate.
Okay.
Whoever did the cabinets, I can't find a flaw in anything. Like it's like the lines to the ceiling, all the gaps on everything are absolutely
perfect.
A 16th of an inch everywhere.
That's awesome.
Perfect. So I'm like, well, I got to keep up with that, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I built the built out, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be important later because I'm going to have slats, and this corner is got to meet up with this corner. So we shot everything with a laser, and then used that as my that is, man, I tell you what, if you're ever going to do anything that's over 8 foot tall, just get you a laser. And then that way you can shoot the ceiling where it's supposed to land and where it's supposed to land on the floor, and everything's level and straight, square. And it was. It did. I mean, as much as the 2x4 can be. And then, it sucked. Really, really sucked. Like, if I was doing it in my own house and there was no time frame and I wasn't worried about making a mess and like a million other variables that would not have existed. But the guy is a mess. He's he moved in a while back, and like there's just stuff everywhere. Just his girlfriend's a mess. There's just stuff everywhere. And like every time you need something, you got to go downstairs. Every time you want to cut something, like it's like this whole vacuum situation. There's nothing like a table saw and a chop saw, man, where you just run stuff, and like a jigsaw, you go outside and cut things, slap a piece of tape on it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're trying to be very, very precise and not make a mess, and you're in somebody's house and you don't have like sawhorses and a work table and stuff, it's really hard. It's really, really hard. If I ever did it again, I would figure 2 hours a panel for labor, at least, and for time. 2 hours a panel. There was 11 panels, and it took us every bit of 2 days to do those panels.
I got to send you a link. There is a Festool rolling work table that expands out.
Yes, I've seen it.
Dude, you can pick up a sheet of plywood with it. I have one in my shop.
I saw that.
Here's the trick, though. If you order it from the U.S., it's like a $900 cart. If you order it from a European distributor, it's like a $150 cart plus shipping.
So what I was going to say is, at the last minute,
that's disgusting.
Remember, I told you guys I bought that old saw, right?
Mm-hmm.
That lady had a Rubbermaid commercial 2-tier cart there.
You buy it?
I saw it. I didn't. And then I was like, you know what? I called her. I was like, you know what? Will you take like $25 for the thing? She's like, sure. So I sent one of my guys on a Sunday. He ran over there and picked it up. A steal, by the way.
Yeah.
And because they're like, what, $250 at least?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It saved us. Because we were up and down the stairs. We put a piece of wood on top, and I clamped a piece of wood, made like a work table out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I want another one.
Yeah.
It was absolutely unbelievably helpful, filling it full of tool bags and trash and everything else we had to haul down.
Awesome.
But, yeah. Okay, so last thing. So amongst that, this weekend I went and worked on my new shop.
In your garage?
At my father-in-law's garage.
Oh, okay.
And we bought these discs on Amazon that are like, I don't know how to describe it, like paint removing, rust removing discs. They're like
for like the floor.
Purple. No, they go on a grinder. Like this purple pad that looks like. It looks like. I don't know if you've ever seen. Wagner used to have them that you'd put on a drill, but they're like this real abrasive, like stiff pad that you put on there, and then they had like, we also bought some Scotch-Brite ones that are like real thick. They go on a grinder, and we got all the rust off the table saw, so on and so forth. And I don't know if I told you this. Did I tell you this? I bought bowling alley wax.
You did not tell us this.
Really?
So if you go on Amazon, I was like, I was going to buy my wax, right? Like I bought the same men wax, paste wax, like for forever.
That everybody has, yeah.
You can't get it only on Amazon now. It's like $15 for a thing of it.
I got some at
they still have it at your Lowe's?
Yeah, Home Depot, they have it too.
Oh, no, they don't have it at Home Depot anymore because that's a men wax product.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Lowe's sometimes, I guess you can find it. Our Lowe's doesn't have it anymore.
Okay.
And so I'm looking at it, and I was like, bowling alley wax. And it literally just says...
Well, I mean, you guys are just killing me with the phones today.
Oh, I'm so bad.
The other one wasn't my phone.
At least my ringtone's normal.
So it says bowling alley wax, and literally all it says is bowling alley wax. It's like the same company that's made it for like 120 years. It's a huge can.
Are they the same company that makes like government cheese where it just says cheese on the side?
I don't know, man. But, and I read on there that these guys were using it on their table saws and jointers and like their band saws. Okay. And he's like, this works really good. So I bought it.
Friction or what's the difference?
It's durable.
Okay.
And, it goes on really easy. And I'll be danged if it doesn't work quite well. It just goes, it doesn't smell as good as the men wax stuff, but
no, that happens.
It goes on, it buffs right off. It made it super slick and shiny.
So are all your tools like ready to go?
No. So someone lost the bolts. When we took that thing apart at the house, at the warehouse that we got it from, somehow all the bolts and nuts and everything disappeared. And we looked through all my trailer. We looked through everything we brought over. As it turns out, it got stuck in a box that went to the shop, and we've got them now. I just got them back. So cool. I did get it wired up, and it's running. I'm going to change the belts on it. And
on the table saw?
Yeah, because they're just old.
Did you get the gliding or sliding feature all dialed in?
I don't have room for it.
Oh.
So it came with the leaf that goes on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
I decided to just opt for that because right now the sliding feature is just too big. I mean, you had the sliding thing on there. You got a 54-inch rip plus another 4 feet. I mean, it's like this enormous thing, and in the space that I have right now, I don't have enough use for it to just to put it on. But I do have it. It's all disassembled and cleaned up and stuck under the table.
Cool.
So when I ever change shops, I'll have the Excalibur sliding table saw attachment.
Nice. I like it.
What about you, Rossi Bossy?
It has been, since Workbench Con, it has been a wild shop time for me.
Do tell.
So, first of all, I got the 45 degree box joints dialed in. I got them glued up. I actually sent you guys pictures today.
Dude, I saw that.
I had a couple knots that were in some of the fingers on the box joints that I had to fill with epoxy. So those are sitting right now, soaking with epoxy. But in general, I'm actually really pleased with how they came out. And I was starting to, for the part that'll actually stretch across the tub, because those pieces that I showed you are the arms that go over the edges of the tub. So for the piece that'll go over the center, the actual table part, I have to bore out because it's a 2-inch thick slab. So I'm boring out 1 inch down to be able to make a part that'll fold up to hold a book. And I was trying to hog out the majority of the material on my drill press with a 2-inch Forstner bit. And turns out a 2-inch Forstner bit
is a monster
on white oak apparently needs a much more aggressive drill press than I have.
Yeah, dude, that's a 2-inch Forstner bit is what I messed my thumb up with real bad.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about that. I was more worried about the fact that I have now burnt out 4 motors on drill presses because every time I try and work with material like this where I'm like using Forstner bits and boring stuff out, like I apparently push drill press motors to the limit, and they're done.
So I have one question.
Okay.
What brand of Forstner bit?
Yes, I know you're going to say
it's Ryobi, isn't it?
It is, but because I can sharpen them every time.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, I know you know how to use a drill press. So did you have it geared like way down, like super slow? You know, where you change the belts on top?
I did not, because this is the one I normally have for the. I had not set it up yet, but I had it geared to do the
like drill
hollow chisel mortising.
Oh, so it's a little faster.
Yeah. And on a 2-inch Forstner bit, it was just too much. And the motor, all of a sudden, you turn it on, it goes, and just doesn't turn.
Is it the belts? Oh, so it's not just the belt slipping. It's like,
100% it's the motor.
That sucks.
So, and the sad part is I actually had 3 prior motors from my other drill press that I have already burned through. And because I would order a new one, 2 of them were still under warranty. And then one of them I've had to buy outright. But like, there used to be somebody not far from me, actually the same town as Mark, the creepy craftsman. Shout out to him. Same town as him. There used to be a guy that would rebuild electric motors.
Right. We had a guy here, but yeah.
Turns out that guy shut down, and the closest guy was like another 20 miles past that. So I call up that guy and I'm like, hey, I have these motors. In total, I have 5 motors I need to bring over to you. He was like, I hate to say it, but you're better off selling those for scrap because nobody rebuilds them. It's cheaper now for us to just order a new one from China or just go to Harbor Freight and get a new one than it is to actually fix it and put all in new copper and everything else.
Yeah,
so,
if the continuity's gone, then you're toast.
Yeah. So that's essentially where things are at. And so I have to use a router now to hog out the rest of my material. So
you're not going to throw it on your on a drill?
No.
I had that. Remember, I did my closet doors, and I had like a what was it, a 2 1/4 Forstner? I was going to rip my arms off.
Yeah, it's aggressive.
It is.
Or you could get like a hole saw, maybe.
But I don't want to go all the way. So the problem
you're not going all the way through? Okay.
No, I'm only cutting like an inch out of the 2 inches out. So, so yes, I will use a router to cut out the rest of it. I probably got 2/3 of it out. I'll do the rest tomorrow, but I didn't want to use a router because the other project that I was working on today, there were 2 of them. While I was at Workbench Con, I was reached out to by a prior customer, interior designer, about a bar that is being built in my area. And they want I don't know if you guys have seen it. Colton, I know you guys, you and I talked about it at Workbench Con, but the table that Cam from Blacktail Studios did, that was the Shoshigi Bond totally charred table. That he then covered in
we talked
epoxy.
about it.
So long story short, they want me to make a 10-foot long by 42-inch wide
charcoal
oval. But they want it to be charcoal and then covered in epoxy. And they were like, can you make us a sample so we see what it looks like before we, drop the money on this? And I'm like, okay.
Kingsford?
Yeah, exactly. So I literally yesterday spent the time charring the hell out of a piece of poplar that I had that was 8-quarter poplar, charred the hell out of it. And then I put it in, I used deep penetrating epoxy to seal it up. Then I put it into a form today and went to go cover it in tabletop epoxy because I was like, it's just a small piece. I'm not worried about it. But then it started to float because the buoyancy of everything. So I'm like, well, crap. I need to put something on top of it and then clamp it down so that it doesn't go anywhere. And I was like, if I take out that piece at the exact right time, it should be solvent enough to where this piece is not going to float. But at the same token, the epoxy will then, if I heat it up a little bit, will reform and then be totally clear. So I did that.
Like,
kind of
makes sense to me.
Kind of is the issue. I pulled it out at what I thought was the right time, and then I used a blowtorch to pop some bubbles and heat it up a little bit, and then it charred the entire center and blistered it, and now I have to redo the entire thing. So got to remake that sample. That'll be tomorrow's endeavor, and I think I'm going to have to pour halfway up around it and then let it set and then pour the other half. So I'll be able to deliver a sample probably Thursday, more than likely. But yeah, so there's that. And then the other project I'm working on is that that base that I was building. I had done cleaned everything up, primed it, painted it one color pink, painted another color pink. He's like, okay, now I need you to distress it. And I was like, but I just took the time to build all this. And he was like, no, I want it to look like it's been through hell and beaten to hell. And I was like,
sure.
All right. So I take it all down, and sure enough, he's like, I need it deeper. I need to see more of the wood.
Grinder, baby.
Yeah, but like then it's starting to scoop out sections. And I'm like, So either way, then he's like, oh, I think I want matte finish on it. I was like, you don't want matte finish on this. You want at least satin. Yeah. He was like, well, isn't matte going to be a harder finish? I was like, no, it has nothing to do with anything other than the gloss. So I got to get some all the high or the gloss that I have as a finish right now is all high gloss, because that's what all the other guitars he had were. So I got to go get some satin finish tomorrow.
So have you seen this girl that's like, she's kind of goth, and she has this amazing, like,
in New York?
Really, yeah, and she makes guitars that are like just like art, just art. Yeah. Like just she was making some stuff out of an old like door and like
she said she makes like 100 per year.
Oh, it's so neat. Oh, yeah, that's just like heaven. I just love it. I just love her stuff. Yeah,
but she charges like $30,000 per guitar.
Who cares? It is like a Picasso and a guitar at the same time.
Yep. So yeah, that's what I got going on, and
very good.
I'm hoping to deliver. If I can, I'll deliver the guitar this week. If not, next week is going to be a big delivery day.
So if they do decide to do the table, are you going to get one of those giant torches they use on like asphalt?
So
please say yes.
One of my buddies
for the resin?
No, to torch the table.
Oh, yeah.
So one of my buddies actually has the propane attachment, or the blower attachment, or flamethrower attachment for a propane tank for when you're killing your weeds. So I'll just use one of those.
Yeah. That's some good video there.
Yeah. Exactly. So
hey, also on the distressing. So Jess, are you pro distressing? You like distressing stuff?
So I did it for a long time on a lot of different things, and you can take like an old white, like you can take an old piece of furniture that's ugly and spray the dang thing with white paint, and then just hit a couple spots. Oh. It looks kind of cool. It's around here. I mean, it's beachy coastal. I used to take all of my bars when I got started, put all the leftover paint I had on it, beat it through, and it just looks like, it just looks used. People like to think it has a story. It doesn't have a story.
Yeah.
But
so
I hate it, man.
my issue.
Yeah, but now you work for restoration.
Yeah, so now he wants everything to look perfect, and I get that. But like when I look at, especially on the guitars, there is a massive trend in like custom shop guitars where you want it to look like this is a 50-year-old guitar that has been playing the club scene and the bar scene, though, like at least 300 nights a year, and it is just weathered to hell, and it makes it look like you've been playing forever. But like if you have 10 grand, you can buy this guitar and you can still suck at guitar. Like that's my problem. I want to see people have like earned the distress on the guitar. That's fair.
Yeah, I don't want it as a way to like be a poser in any way in anything, but it adds character. It adds something to it.
Yeah, I had to distress something. Well, the last thing I think I distressed was that longleaf pine end cap I made, and
did you use like a chain?
Ross
and
is
a
like,
hammer?
well, we used we had some sort of like weird hammer chisel thing I did a couple hits with.
Oh,
we had like a staple puller that was making like perfect like little two dots close to each other. But like I felt like Rick was making me abuse a baby. He was like, hit it harder. I'm like, he's like, harder. I'm like, I don't want to.
I can't tell you how many tens of thousands of dollars of like, just yellow pine tables. We had chains, and I had a piece of like 1 inch by 3/4 poplar that we shot 50 finish nails through, and you'd whack it with it, and so you get like little wormholes and like all this stuff, and it looks cool. It looks an old beat up farm table.
I'm not gonna lie, it did kind of add a cool effect to that last piece of it,
I don't want it overdone. I definitely have an appreciation for perfect work and nice new, shiny things. Don't get me wrong, like perfect finishes on mid-century furniture is just glorious to me and stuff. But I also like it just depends on, like, if you have like a house and everything's very nice, and then you just have like a couple pieces that are like look like they're old and distressed pieces, whether it's real or not, it adds a little character to it.
That's true. I can understand, like, if you have like a loft type place and you're like, oh, this is a luggage cart from, a train from 100 years ago.
Sure.
That's cool. Or like when you walk into a restaurant or into a
brewery,
business and they're
breweries
like,
are big on it.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, this is somebody's old woodworking bench that, was in somebody's shop for 100 years or whatever. That makes sense to me. I get it. But it has to be part of the whole style.
Feng shui.
Yes.
Yeah. The old with new.
Yeah.
Dude, my brother likes to go freaking ham. Like he built a bed frame or whatever, and he distressed the shit out of it, man. Sorry. He was taking like a chain and like whacking a hammer on a chain, and then it was he went nuts.
Well, I'm kind of more.
I just remembered one cool thing we did to distress it. So we had like a staple puller, right? It's like a little bitty end with like 2 sticks coming out, then like 2 smaller sticks. We would hold that at kind of an angle and tap that with like a small mallet, and it made kind of a cool pattern.
I'm kind of more like on the distressed finishes than I am actually like beating the wood up. You know what I mean? Just like a little wear on the corner, a little bit that just adds a little accentuates.
Oh, like a French rub.
Yeah, it adds a
little.
I
like it when it's done well. Yeah.
I bet you do.
Just the edges and stuff generally kind of accentuates the lines of the piece. So
Yep.
All right.
Well, I think it's time we get into a little bit of something else.
I think so.
Jess, I'm going to let you lead. What are we doing next?
Let's do some wood of the week.
Done.
Wow.
Wood of the week.
Please do not turn off your phone. Please do not turn off your car stereo. Please do not change the channel. Okay.
Oh, this is going to be a long
reason. It's not about Cherry, Ross. This week's Wood of the Week is something that I came to a realization this week, specifically with the wood strip wall.
Yellow pine.
I came to a realization that it is a necessary evil. This week's Wood of the Week is MDF. Okay. All right, guys, just relax.
Hey, I don't know. In the CNC world, MDF is amazing.
Correct. And let me tell you why I came to a realization before we go into this quick history of it. So these wood strips that are on this stuff is a very, very thin veneer wrapped around 0.6 inch thick by 1 inch wide MDF strips. And I thought about it, and if it was real wood, if it was real oak over all that stuff, it would be twisted and warped, and it would go from the factory to somebody's air-conditioned house. It'd be popping off the felt and all that. What else would you use? Well, you can use plywood, but plywood splits. It also has bumps in it. It's not perfectly flat. And it's heavier. It's more expensive. There's a lot of reasons. It smells. There's just a lot of different reasons. MDF or multiple medium density fiberboard is generally extremely perfect, extremely flat, and extremely
toxic to cut.
Yeah, it is toxic to cut. It is full of formaldehyde. What's the word that I'm talking about? It doesn't move around. whatever that's called.
Stable. Yeah.
Extremely stable.
No grains.
The origins of MDF trace back to 1925 in the U.S. William Mason, an inventor and close associate of Thomas Edison, as a matter of fact, was experimenting with ways to utilize leftover wood chips and shavings from the lumber mills. One evening, he accidentally left his equipment running overnight. By morning, the wood fibers had compressed into a thin, durable sheet, leading to actually the creation of what product was known as hardboard or masonite. And that kind of started it. And then upon that, like the Swedish engineer Arne Asplund developed the defibrillator in 1931, a machine that refines wood chips into fine fibers using pressurized steam and grinding discs. And that's what kind of was instrumental in producing MDF as we know it. The first MDF plant in the United States was U.S. factory producing medium in 1964. 1964, and I could not figure out who it was, but everybody says it's 1964. In 1973, the first MDF was produced in Europe, and today European production still is like way more. The global MDF market.
Now, do you consider MDF the stuff that is like just the sawdust that's compressed, or do you also consider like the interior of melamine as MDF?
That's particle board. That's different.
That's what I figured, but I wanted to ask.
Bigger. No, that's not.
That's bigger shavings.
Yeah, that is, right. And that's heavier too. I hate particle board even worse than I hate it.
Yeah, it sucks.
So the global MDF market in 2023, the market was valued at $43.9 billion. And by 2030, they say it'll be worth 66.7.
What is the largest use for MDF if it's to that scale? Cabinetry?
I don't know. You know, I looked into it.
I mean, baseboards and trim.
Furniture, cabinetry, flooring, decorative projects. There is no like anything woodworking. I mean, if you look at anything that you buy that's a trinket or a piece of furniture or anything, I mean, even stuff made back in the 70s that has beautiful veneers on it, it's MDF inside. Or it's particle board, and some like big, beautiful tables. It's some type of press board. They use it as core in a lot of flooring, which blows my mind that they use MDF in a lot of these laminate floorings and stuff like that.
Yeah, because if water hits it, it's warping like crazy.
It's totally ruined. Right. That's the problem. Now, I will say they do make water-resistant MDF for outdoor cabinets. There is such a thing as waterproof MDF. It's very expensive. They also have an incredibly hard time getting paint to stick to it. You have to use like epoxy enamels and stuff to get it to stick to this stuff.
Could you hit said MDF if you were painting normal MDF? Could you paint it and then hit it with like Halcyon or something?
I have seen people make floors out of MDF. Can you waterproof it? I don't know. It really would have to be up to the finish. Most finishes are somewhat permeable. Even if you think it's completely covered, there's always a little something. The ends of MDF are the worst, right? Yeah. Because you paint the face of it. It takes paint beautiful. Yeah. But like Colton's dealt with, you paint the edges of it, and it's so rough. You know, an oil-based, couple coats of oil-based, and you got to keep sanding it until you can kind of get it sealed, and then you can finally paint it so it looks like the face of it. Yeah. But, you know, it has its purpose. It is like when you're making like shop things that need to be really true, like a piece of plywood sucks. Like I've tried it and putting like laminate over it to make something. If you buy
the wasteboard on your CNC.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it is like it's a very flat product.
But conversely, there's not a lot of strength to it.
No.
Like I have so actually my router table, the plans called for 2 layers of MDF on top of each other to span the top of it, and then you just wrap it in whatever wood you want.
Sure.
And it's bowed now over the last like 3 years.
Yeah.
So I have to redo the top of my router table because of it.
They make like anything sacrificial, like on your like shaper fences and stuff like that. All that stuff you buy from everybody is MDF on the back. And then like they'll put some sort of laminate over the top, but it's because it just stays flat when they ship it. It stays flat and true, and so on and so forth. So it has its purpose. It's not. I don't think anything that you make with MDF is ever made to last. It's only made to serve a purpose at the time, and that's pretty much it. That's kind of my view of it. Yeah. Like this wood slat wall, like if there was a flood, the whole thing's ruined. It's just totally ruined. Yeah. It's totally ruined. Now, if it was wood, it would also totally be ruined.
Also, if there's a flood on the 10th floor, we got bigger issues.
Well, I mean, if he had if there was a fire sprinkler popped or something that and got it wet, because we had to work around two fire sprinklers. It was very scary.
I've been in the 10th floor doing water damage stuff.
Yeah, like
the guy on the 11th floor wanted to DIY his plumbing.
A window in a hurricane, something blows through his window in a hurricane or something like that. So it has its purpose. It is nice to have a product that you can use that is stable, that you can veneer over or paint or something like that. But that's kind of where it ends. It's never anything to really. I mean, you're not going to see somebody having a show about an antique that's got MDF doors in the near future.
No.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I found that word I was looking for earlier, the C word.
Okay.
For like the chemical. It's caustic.
Caustic,
CAUSTIC.
Yeah, it's like really strong chemicals.
Yeah,
caustic.
Yeah, able to burn or corrode organic tissue by chemical action.
Yeah, that means your skin.
Yeah.
Use gloves.
Yeah, but there's some sort of common. It's probably not as common anymore, but something you keep by the sink to like really deep clean stuff, and
Barkeeper's Friend works really well.
Yeah, so they think that someone was using that on a rag and had like set it down on the top of that pitch wax. But yeah, sorry, I texted Rick and he just texted me back.
One other final note about MDF that is interesting. Final thoughts, as Jerry Springer used to do. MDF is only made from a waste product. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're grinding up trees to make it.
No.
So in general, so all that stuff that would normally be burned or thrown away, they're making, products with it, which is nice.
So are you saying that there's a way that feasibly us woodworkers could take our wood shavings and make our own MDF?
No, because it takes too much pressure. But you can do like a cool epoxy one.
Big old 2,000 pound press. Yeah.
Yeah, probably more than that. I don't even want to know how much they have to press it with.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there you go. MDF.
Well, hot damn. All right.
There you go.
So what are we doing next? Are we drinking? Are we triviaing?
We've got some trivia that goes along with it.
Trivia.
Better get on out that knowledge because it's trivia time.
Once again, don't turn off your computer or turn off your thing. So if I say MDF and a furniture company, what's the company that comes to mind?
IKEA.
That is correct. This week's trivia is on IKEA. We will test
they're more
IKEA.
Particle board, right?
Yes, but there's a lot of
every broken
MDF
piece of IKEA I see is more particle.
That's right. Yeah. It is. Yeah. So this week we're going to talk about IKEA. I will say that IKEA has beautiful designs, terrible throwaway furniture. That's kind of their thing, right?
Correct.
Right. But like I have walked through and like, that is really pretty. Like, look at the lines on that. This is gorgeous. Their cabinets are absolute garbage. I have been to 3 jobs recently where somebody tried to install an IKEA kitchen and had never done it before and ruined it.
Yep.
Not saying that I know how to, but I have done one, and it is like a whole different world. There are some little things as we go along that will answer other questions, so please pay attention. All right. So you might not get all the questions right, but you might get some later on because there's little hints as we go.
I think Colton should start.
I think Colton should start. Ross does not seem amused with this. All right, here we go. In which country was IKEA founded? Crit show. Denmark, Sweden, Norway, or Finland?
Crap, this is embarrassing.
That's incorrect.
They all sound right. That's. Oh wow. Is it Sweden?
Sweden is correct. Yes, it was founded in 1943 by Ingvar Kamprad. Ingvar Kamprad in Sweden.
Common spelling. Yes.
Yeah, the company's name is an acronym for his initials, IK, the farm where he grew up, Elmatard, and his hometown, Agunard. So IKEA. That's where IKEA comes from. All right, Ross, what is the name of IKEA's most famous bookcase? I'll help you out a little bit. All right. Is it Malm, Pax, Billy, or Kalax?
It is the Pax.
That is correct. It is Billy. The Billy bookcase was introduced in 1979 and has been one of IKEA's best-selling products ever. Estimated 60 million Billy bookcases sold.
Woo!
60 freaking million.
Wait, I said it was Pax.
Yeah, Billy, that's correct. That is right. All right, you did very good. All right. Question number 3. Like, who knows that? What is unique about IKEA's furniture names, Colton?
Ooh, I know this one.
Oh, they're all after like foods or something. I can't remember. What is it?
It is. All right. Well, here's your 4. Ross can steal. They are named after either famous Swedish kings, randomly generated by AI. They're named after real people at IKEA, or they follow a specific naming system.
I was gonna go with the system, but I don't know.
All right. What is that system?
I don't know. I can't.
All right,
what is
Ross.
it, Ross?
What is it,
They
Ross?
are all named after towns in Sweden.
That is part of it, yes. So IKEA's furniture follows a strict naming system. For example, chairs and desks are named after Scandinavian boys' names. Bathroom items have names of lakes and rivers. And bookshelves are named after professions. And so on and so forth.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
that's
like,
cool.
each thing is named after a thing, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I was just thinking about the meatballs. Like, there's a.
Hey, that question's coming up. Don't steal the show. All right, moving on. Right, Ross. Which IKEA item has been hacked? In other words, used for different things. The most by DIY enthusiasts. And so we've got the Hemnes bed frame, the Lack side table, the Klippen sofa, or the Gronlid armchair.
I'm going to go with the side table.
That's correct. The Lack side table is one of the most hacked IKEA products because of its affordability and simple design. People have turned it into everything from cat beds to speaker stands.
Huh.
All right.
Interesting.
Good job, Ross. All right, moving on. Colton. What year did IKEA open its first store in the U.S.? 65, 85, 95, or 05?
65.
That is incorrect. It is 85, a little premature, but still close. In Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania in 85. And there are 50. There's 50 stores across the country. There's one where I live. A massive thing. I'd rather shoot myself in the face than have to buy something.
So if you're going to talk about this, then stop me. But like the design of those stores,
yes,
they have done an amazing job of studying actual like consumer behavior and consumer patterns, and they take you up only one way to the very top, and you have to circle your way all the way through every department to be able to leave the store. And they've noticed that like the impulse item buys are like 10x at that store than any other store.
Yeah, it's like a maze. You keep walking and walking. There's a lot of the same things, and they'll Amazon will show you the same thing over and over, and eventually you buy it. Yeah, they do that in the store.
Yep,
like it's these same cute little things, and your wife's like, "Oh, look at this," and then the next thing you know, because it costs like a nickel to make it. All right, moving on. Oh,
sorry,
it's okay.
Wrong one. There we go.
Colton, which of these IKEA sofas is famous for being highly customizable? Is it the Ektorp, the Klippen, the Vamile, or the Naparp?
Wait, was this one Ross's though? I thought I got the date thing wrong. No, it's fine. Okay, back to me. Let's go with the Klippen.
That is incorrect, but very
God.
close. It is the Vamile sofa. It's modular, right? So like you can like buy chaises and seats and move it all around.
Jeez.
So there's a company here at the mall.
Lovesack.
Yeah, and like you can just buy these sofas and like you can put speakers in them and subwoofers and like all kind of stuff, and they sell the heck out of them, I guess.
And you can also, if they get like, if you decide you're changing the theme of your room, you can buy a different cover for them and don't have to get a totally new sofa,
which is genius.
Oh.
Yep.
We looked at Lovesack whenever we bought a couch recently, and
isn't that a little old place where we can get together?
Yeah, it is.
Right, and we did not go with Lovesack. They were a lot more expensive than we wanted to pay.
The problem is
the size of the couch we wanted. They're giant.
I think they have a tin roof though, and it's very rusted. So, all right, moving on. Question number 7 for Ross: which of these famous brands did IKEA collaborate with in 2020? And you'll know this: Apple, Lego, Tesla, or Netflix.
Lego.
That's right, Lego. They teamed up with Lego to create the Biglek storage system, which combines storage boxes with Lego compatible lids, making it easier for kids to clean up. All right. Here we go. Colton, what does IKEA's Fratka refer to?
Are there options?
Is it a couch? Is it the name of its in-house designer? Is it the blue shopping bag that they all use? Or is it a discontinued IKEA lamp?
Those are all oddly specific. A Fratka.
All right, I'll break it down to 2. Is it the couch or the shopping bag?
Shopping bag.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The Fratka bag, the iconic big blue IKEA tote, has been around since '96. It's been repurposed by customers in everything from clothing to camping gear. All right.
My favorite is actually watching videos and pictures from the New York subway, because for a dog to ride the subway in New York, they have to be in a bag. So people buy these IKEA bags at the IKEA in Red Hook. And they cut a hole or holes, and they put their dog, like full-size Labradors in this thing.
I remember seeing that. Like the dog's like walking with a bag vest. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Ross.
Colton, I thought it was going to be you could use an effing lamp. Yeah.
All right.
That's a throwback.
All right. So if you guys are paying attention earlier, what is the best-selling IKEA product of all time? Is it the mom dresser? Is it the Billy bookcase? Is it the Poang chair or the Kallax shelving unit?
It's the Billy bookcase.
It's the Billy bookcase. That's right.
Billy bookcase.
Takes the crown. Some people even collect rare versions of it.
Ooh, not me, but
not
yes.
me though. No, good. It'll all fall apart in the next year. We talked about this.
Yeah.
All right.
I really thought it was going to be me.
Now this is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind here. Which one of these is not something IKEA has sold? Is it solar panels, prefabricated homes, electric bikes, or cars? Was this Colton?
Cars. Let's go with cars. Yeah, I think it's me.
That's correct. You got that right. They've sold solar panels, electric bikes, and prefab homes, but the prefab homes were called Baklock in Sweden.
Did you know that you can actually buy a prefabbed home from Amazon and it comes in a shipping container?
Yes.
And the walls all fold out and it's only like 10 grand?
Yeah, and I saw the guy have it. It's not that bad. It's all like insulated. It's got electrical and everything.
It has electrical?
Yeah. Fully designed out.
It's
once you open the walls,
still.
it's like a 2-bedroom house, but like when you're looking at like, I think it's like 800 square feet, but it's literally a shipping container that shows up. So like, imagine if you were going to be renovating your house, this would be the perfect thing to like have this shipping container show up. You put it on your property, and that way you actually have electricity and a place to stay while your house is being totally torn down and renovated. Yeah. Or just sell it. Who cares?
Yeah, it's amazing. That's good.
Wild. Or you could just live in the shipping container.
You could.
All right. I hope you guys are paying attention. Are you ready, Ross? What? No, wait. Yeah. What was the name of the founder of IKEA? Lars Svensson.
Nope.
Ingvar Kamprad.
Ingvar Kamprad.
Ingvar Kamprad.
It was that was half of the IKEA name.
Yeah, IK. Yeah, E and A were like his farm and something else. All right.
Great grandfather to Iggy Azalea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How old was he when he founded it?
Ooh.
For the bonus question.
65.
Hold on. It was in 1943.
That's correct.
And so I'm going to go with he was 29.
No, he was 17 years old.
Damn.
17 years old.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
He was known for being extremely frugal. He even flew, this is even after IKEA was huge, he flew economy and drove a Volvo, even when he was a billionaire.
Good for him. It's like Warren Buffett.
Love it. Love it. All right, couple more. We'll fly through them. Which of these is a real IKEA product name? Simple one. Is it Spork, Dorfy, Farglov, or Sneak?
Spork.
That is incorrect.
No.
That is a spoon and a fork.
I thought I remembered seeing it.
Farglov is a real IKEA product, a chair cover. All right. Next one, 13. What is the secret behind IKEA's affordable prices?
Flat packing.
That is correct. Holy cow. The flat pack design allows customers to assemble the furniture themselves, reduces shipping costs, and makes production more efficient. Ross, you should just pat yourself on the back right there. That's amazing. All right, two more real quick. Which famous IKEA chairs have been in production since 1976? Poang, Stradmon, Famil, or Nakabe?
Famil.
That is incorrect. It is Poang. Poang, 30 million chairs they've since a bent wood frame. It's actually kind of pretty. It's got a little bounce to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes like pawing when you sit on it?
Yes, it does. It goes
Yep.
All right, last one.
Yeah, it really it gets your hurdy-turdy really going. So, yeah.
All right, and so this is for both of you. Last question. What is IKEA's in-store restaurant most famous for?
Meatballs.
The meatballs.
The meatballs. How many do they sell every year?
Ooh.
1 billion meatballs.
Globally?
1 billion meatballs
That's
every
awesome.
year. They even released the recipe to the public during COVID so people could still eat them.
Really?
Here's a fun fact that we actually talked about in one of the first episodes of this show. IKEA utilizes a quarter of the world's lumber each year.
No way.
The amount of pine that they use as far as MDF, like if you think of most stuff is going to building materials, like of all the stuff that's
they
cut
might be
down,
grinding up new wood. Yeah.
By the time stuff is cut down, if you look at all those trees per year, a quarter of it is used by IKEA each year.
That is absolutely unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I kind of like their. So I mean, I will say this: there are some things in that are solid wood. They're also more expensive.
Yes, pine. They're all made out of pine, but yes.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's light to ship, right?
You know, one thing IKEA that we got that has lasted forever is a disc scrubber. And it's like a disc scrubber. It's like a good head on it. You know, it has a hard back for scraping, but the bottom of it has like a suction cup, and you like smack it right behind your sink. And that scrubber will not give up.
I like the little innovations and the I don't know. There's something about it that's just clean and slick. I do like their linens. I like a lot of their kitchen stuff.
I actually just used the wok that I bought from there literally like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I used it last night to reheat some Chinese food.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting because they're furniture, right? They're it's woodworking, and
Ross, you smacked it on that one. That was a good one.
Here's my thought: if you guys like back it up for just and really think about it, somebody is a woodworker there, a passionate woodworker, several of them, teams of them, and they're designing this stuff, right? Yep. And they're getting to be creative, and then of course it has to go by, efficiency and all that other stuff. But it's a pretty cool company. It's pretty.
I would love to be able to make hardwood furniture that can be flat packed. That'd be fun.
It's that whole shipping thing, right? The expansion and contraction. So it has to be a certain type, but it is possible. It's possible.
Yeah, and it definitely makes having decent furniture affordable.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to do by getting a massive CNC machine. Was just start mass producing like 2 or 3 hardwood like pieces of furniture.
You sell
coffee
several
table,
of them, find out what sells, and start mass producing it. I think it's possible, Ross.
It is. And so I'll drink to that.
Woo!
Showtime! Woo! 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 Woo!
The whiskey of the week.
The whiskey of the week coming in from 2 weeks ago. The end of last season's episodes was the Middle West Pumpernickel Rye. And Colton, you showed me just before we got on air that you were able to procure it. So good, sir, does it dandy.
It sure does, man.
All right.
This one's very neat. It comes in a very similar train as the Wyatt Earp.
Okay.
I know the Wyatt Earp wasn't a rye technically, but it's very much in the same vein as that. It's basically a lot of dark fruit and a lot of pepper.
Are you getting pumpernickel?
I'm not super sure. I've never met a pumpernickel in the wild, but
obviously you haven't been to a lot of Jewish delis.
I can picture it would be like a pumpernickel, right?
Heavy on the rye, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very similar to that Wyatt Earp. It's like just coming in super powerful. It's definitely a good winter drink. I wouldn't want this in like any sort of like summer, but it's a good cold weather bourbon. Or no, it's not a bourbon. Sorry, straight rye.
Yep.
And so also, so I was reading the mash bill. It didn't say percentages, at least where I was looking, but it's primarily that dark pumpernickel rye, and then some yellow corn, and then the interesting one, an Ohio soft red winter wheat.
Huh.
Right. And like the more I thought about that and like tried to taste it, and it was really good. It was really kind of tasty. This whiskey, it reminds me of, all right, picture this.
Okay.
You have a shirtless Terry Crews.
That's exciting.
Playing pickleball with Richard Simmons. And
sure.
It's that rye and that wheat going back and forth, and he's like, "Oh yeah," like right there, Richard, and he's like, "Aha," and and they're just going back and forth. That's kind of what this is doing for me here. Okay. And it's a cool back and forth, man. It's a neat one. Definitely in the same grain as the Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp would be a little bit more, I'd almost want to say like country. A little more Wild West, like especially with like kind of like that tobacco and like the strong raisin kind of. But as far as just like overpowering, kind of domineering, if you will, same thing. It reminded me of it as soon as I tasted it. But.
I like it. It. So where would you stack it up versus? I know you kind of hold the Old Elk rye pretty high. The Michter's rye is really high on your list. Mm-hmm. This one you said is different.
I wouldn't even compare them.
Okay, because they are so different?
Yeah, I guess a good way to put it would be like beers, right? Like if a normal rye is a Guinness stout, this one is like a oatmeal chocolate peanut butter big boy stout.
Oh.
Right? Like it's thicker, like it's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And as opposed to like a smooth drinker.
Okay. It is not as much of a smooth operator, as they say.
Yeah, and not to say it's not like smooth, but it's not
smooth.
I wouldn't call it as clean as like a Michter's or Old Elk straight rye.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's like a crazy stout versus a Guinness stout.
Well, being that this one arrived, we're going to carry over last week's Whiskey of the Week into next week. So the Rocktown, Arkansas bourbon, hailing from the great state of Arkansas, should be a different one for you. So,
right. So I think I'm gonna have to order that one too. I called a few stores today, just trying to get it.
Yeah,
and I think I'm gonna have to call it in.
Okay,
but
all right.
Maybe we can time our UPS lady a little better this time.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to get into a snugget. I don't know about y'all. So, gentlemen, do either one of you happen to have a nugget or a snugget or a snipe you'd like to share?
I have a nugget.
Okay.
This is an old nugget. So, do you guys remember how I got the gaming mouse for SketchUp?
Yeah.
That's got like a bazillion buttons on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to briefly explain what a macro is and explain to people that how they can buy these mouses. Take just a second, because I got a new computer. I bought a second mouse because I got one at the shop and one here. So a macro is like if I typed, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a whole bunch of different keys on my thing, and then I recorded it. You push one button and it plays that on your computer. In other words, it types all those buttons. So it's the same thing. Like if you have certain key commands that you use in programs, or like if you play video games.
Mm-hmm.
Like some video games, you would that's what the gaming mouse does, right? Like you have certain key commands. Well, you can set it so you press one button and it does all those key commands instantly. You buy the mouse on Amazon, you save the macro to whatever program it is. So if you're used to SketchUp, AutoCAD, whatever it is, Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever it is, you record that macro and then you go to the front screen and then you click button number 3 is this macro that I just saved. That's all there is to it. The software is free. The mouse is like $30. Okay. And for anybody that uses any kind of software where they're having to use key commands a lot, I barely have to take my hand off my mouse. When I'm designing stuff in SketchUp, it's so much faster. It's crazy because I go to I'm on my laptop and I don't have it. And I'm having to hit all the different tools or go over and click the different tools. Yeah. I know in Photoshop, there's a million tools too, right? That you're using all the time. Illustrator, same thing.
Yep.
For somebody that does that, and you can set up macro lists too, so you can switch back and forth between sets of macros. So I think just try it. You're out $30. You got a sweet mouse, maybe, but as soon as you get used to it, it's like a game changer. It's so much faster and so much easier. A CNC stuff, if you're people that use 3D printing things, I know there's a lot of key commands and a lot of those, Vectric and all that stuff. So Lightburn, I think it would be useful for you to give it a shot.
Nice. All right. Colton, how about you? Do you need a second?
No, I got it. So for a good nugget, keep your pregnant wife's cup full of water. No, I'm just kidding. But that is a nugget. Yeah, keep refilling that cup. But so mine's a little more theoretical this week. It's man, your ego can get you in trouble, dude. I've seen so often where it's it's a problem. Yes, there's a problem between two people, whether it's a customer and a business or vice versa, whatever. If one person will just a lot of problems can be avoided if you don't let your emotions get involved, right? If you if whenever a customer is going off the rails, they may be saying some berserk stuff, and if you can just endure that 5 minutes, like, and not react like they expect you to react with a fight, like they're probably going to apologize to you before the call's over, and you can still take their money on this job, right? I'm not saying be a pushover all the time, but I've just seen so many stuff, or like even like with the employee issue, like if he could have just put his ego to the side and said sorry, and I'm going to try to do better, like it would have been fine. But no, a little bit of ego goes a long ways, and yeah, that's my nugget, man.
Okay,
just check yourself out
before you wreck yourself.
On that note, have you guys ever seen that show called The Good Doctor? It's about the kid. He's autistic. In the first episode, he's they decide they're gonna let him on, and he goes to the main surgeon, and he's like, all you're gonna do is suction. That's all you're gonna do on my team, because he doesn't want him there. Yeah. And he's autistic. He doesn't understand social cues and sarcasm. And he goes, you're very arrogant. Do you think that it helps you be a better doctor? And everybody just kind of looks at him. But you think about the statement. Yeah. And think about it in anything. Do you think it's helping you be certain things, self-confidence and arrogance are two different things. So being confident and quiet, being confident and humble is a real thing. Absolutely. And those are the people really well put, man. Yeah. Those are the people that are I don't know how to explain it exactly, but those are the people that become something in history. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but think of it.
No, that was a good addition, man. Yeah. Nailed it.
I have a snipe and I have a nugget. They are not combined, so it's not a snugget. But okay. So my snipe, first of all, I use Square, and then for my finance stuff for RNC Woodworking, and it's great for being able to take money. And they have an arm called Weebly, which is their online platform.
Right.
And they made a change in January, and they didn't really let people know about said change. And that change was, if you were on the basic plan, you could no longer have a custom website, i.e. RNC or r-c-designs.com. It would have to be square.com/RNC designs or square.com/whatever I wanted it to be. And they basically, because I didn't see the update that I was supposed to change the plan that I was on, which was more than double what the basic plan was. They just shut off my website. And I was unaware of this because I don't check my website daily. I was unaware of this until I tried to send the customer for this Shoshigiban table to go check it out. And they were like, yeah, there's nothing coming up on your website. And I was like, no, I know I'm still paying for the website, but it totally got shut off. And I reached out to customer service, and they're like, oh, yeah, we happened to send an email in the end of January. It probably ended up in your junk folder. But yeah, we just, so you can pay more.
Has it been down for a whole month, you think?
Yeah. So,
switching over to a
I am going to be switching over to a different website base.
Hostager does it, and then they hook you up with somebody, and it's like nothing. They don't charge you anything to have it.
Okay. Well, either way, payments. This leads me into my next part of it, which is my nugget. I have been going through an AI training course, kind of a crash course for 30 days. You learn 30 new programs, how to use them, how to best benefit from them on the financial side. And one of the ones that I learned about is called Jasper.ai. And you can actually add it in as an add-in to your Chrome browser, the same way that you would have Honey, which goes through and makes sure you have the best pricing at any time you check out at an online store, or some other ones. But Jasper, you can actually go in and say, okay, this is my website. What should I do to optimize this to target these people? And this is what we're trying to sell. And what should I do to optimize it for SEO? And this is, I need, 5 intros I can put in on this. I need this. And so like you plug it all in. It's like, this is the absolute best options that you can go with. And then you can say, make sure that it doesn't sound or use any words that AI would use. Okay. Rewrites the whole thing in whatever form that you want, gives you all the perfect SEO optimization, and it's all done in seconds. So Jasper.ai has been
I've
awesome.
seen a lot of TikToks about it.
Yes.
That's cool. Also, I didn't know you're doing that program. Dude,
Yeah.
I can't wait to pick your brain over the next 30 days.
I see ads for it all the time.
Yeah. So I've enrolled in the Coursive program. And you've probably seen Instagram ads about it, but like it literally takes you through how to write the prompts, what you should be doing on each of these programs. And some of them have been really helpful. Some of them I'm like, I don't know that I would use that one, but like knowing how they work has been really helpful.
Yeah, knowing that it exists is a cool thing. Yeah.
And as I said, I have found editing software to be able to upload all your raw footage and say, create this into YouTube videos. And I am testing out 2 different pieces of software at the moment. I should have feedback for you guys soon. So,
oh, dude.
Very cool.
Yes. So
dude, I can't wait. We're like getting the class for free now.
I
Pick
know.
your brain on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heck
absolutely. Yeah. So keep learning to everybody out there, especially, and I will say this, doesn't matter what side of the aisle you sit on politically. It does not matter who you voted for. It is going to be a very rough 6 months. For the first 6 months of the year for everybody this year are going to be very tumultuous, job market wise, cost of living wise, trade wise, tariff wise. Just everything is in upheaval right now because even companies that are much more right leaning are hesitant right now to invest money because they don't know where is going to be stable market wise. So there are job cutbacks everywhere. So keep educating yourself, learn as much as you can, make sure you are an added resource in whatever field you are in. And I got a piece of advice recently on somebody that I sat next to on a plane who happened to be a CEO. And they said, if you think about the times where you've been in an office setting and you ask somebody who is the next generation up from you, and you say, hi, how do you do this one thing? And they go, I don't know. It's a computer thing. I don't get it. Or if you're like, hey, how do I format this PDF? And they go, I have no clue. Automatically, your respect for that person with regards to anything technology-wise is out the window. So as younger people are coming up in the job market, if they ask you, hey, what's going on with this social media platform, or what's going on with this AI thing, or what's going on with cloud form of storage and cloud usage, if you don't have some sort of a base of knowledge on things, you will be left behind very, very quickly and seen as no longer an asset, but a liability. So keep learning, keep educating yourself, and do everything you can to just have a little bit of knowledge on a lot of things. So yeah,
that's deep. Yeah.
That's my platform. I'm going to step off it now.
What's also someone said it was at Workbench Con, I believe, where it's like someone who is high up on or really into the AI is like, no, AI is not taking everybody's job soon, but people who know how to use AI are gonna do better.
And the benefit of it is AI will not be taking trade type work. It will not be taking things along the line of plumbers, electricians, carpenters, welders, things like that. Those jobs are always going to be there. Mechanics. However, efficiency in being able to utilize AI to make those jobs faster and more efficient, that is definitely going to be there. So learn.
Yeah. It's very useful.
I mean, if this laser stripper, if that incorporates some AI, I mean, that might be taking some.
Or
jobs,
even just being able to optimize your website to make sure you're getting more traffic to stay in business.
So I got my website started up, my new one with Hostinger or Hostinger, however you pronounce it.
Yep.
And it's all AI based. They give you a bunch of free stuff, but they're like, what do you do? They asked me some questions. Boom. He's like, do you like this one? I was like, and then it's like, next one. I was like, that's perfect. Boom. There's my thing. Change some pictures, add some verbiage. It even has a lot of the verbiage in there for you.
Awesome.
And you've got a big starting point. And then, it can even create you some images if you want, but there's free ones. And then they don't even charge. They don't like Square charges you. This doesn't charge you a monthly fee to use their credit card service. I forget what it is, Swind or something like that. But you can set up a shop for free, and they just take 2.6% on their purchases or whatever, just like any other thing. Unbelievable how easy they make all this stuff because of AI. I mean, AI is in my email. Like it's in everything. And now all the new iPhones come with it. This is my thing. This is like a macro. We've been speaking English for a long time. It just was a while before we got a computer to understand it and help us use it and do everyday tasks quicker.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's nothing new under the sun anymore.
Exactly.
So a lot of this basic stuff, like Centra was the name of the thing that I was trying to think of the other day, where it has all these little pre-programmed AIs for different parts of a business. And you can give it your information and it does that job like a little employee. Like one person can do multiple tasks, automatically post on social media, helps you balance your, it does all these different things. And you just pay $100 a month for it. Well, for a business, that's nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm all about it. I think that in the next 5 years, if we're still having this podcast in 5 years, it's going to be a big difference. It's going to be different. Everything's going to be involved in AI somehow.
I think, and Colton and I sat in on the class at Workbench Con that kind of started this bug for me, but we are at a point right now where it was in the late 90s as far as the .com buzz. That's where things are at right now in the AI world. And it's kind of the Wild West, but stuff is going to streamline from here. So if you know how to use it moving forward, you're going to be much better off. It'd be like the people who, bought McDonald's.com in 1994 and said, I'm just going to hold on to this. And then the dude ended up being a multimillionaire because he was renting it for $300,000 a month to McDonald's.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, my wife uses it like ChatGPT because sometimes it's just hard when you're trying to write a million emails to sound professional or how do I say this? How do I say, this without, and it takes a second.
Yeah.
And it really, really helps streamline things. It's such a wonderful tool.
Yeah. All right. Before we go on too much longer, is there anything else you guys want to cover?
That's it for me, bud.
No. Just so anybody wonders, that I got those panels from a company called Aku Wall Panel, AKU. Aku Wall Panel. They have them in hexagon too, which are
that must have
gorgeous.
Been interesting to try and cut hexagonal pieces.
I have no idea. I know that it's beautiful. They've got, and they'll send you samples and stuff. They have it with gray felt, black felt, oak, walnut. They use them and they come in 10-foot lengths, as much as 10-foot lengths. It's a really easy product to work with, actually, because, you can just cut it. You could cut it with a handsaw if you wanted to, but it would be a great thing. You could charge people pretty good money for to install for like a woodworker, because a lot of people are wanting that right now. It's kind of trending.
You said it was Aku?
Aku wall panel.
Short for acoustic.
Short for acoustic. Yep, that's right.
All right. Well, to all the listeners out there, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button wherever you're listening to this podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in this week. We hope you enjoyed every second of this episode. If you didn't, please send all your complaints to our Garage Rock-based legal representation at Hawkins, Grohl, Shiflett & Associates, where their motto is, "We got another confession made. I'm no fool. But you probably did this crime, and now it's time to do the time." For Jess, Colton, and Ross, it's been the Beat Around the Bench podcast, and we will catch you all next time.
See ya.
Woo!